yesterday's video, I have discussed about decimal fractions and I told you what is decimal fractions. Decimal fractions are those fractions which have denominator 10 or higher power of 10. And I have given some examples to simplify decimal fractions into fractions, then fractions into decimal fractions, conversion of fraction into decimal fractions when denominators are not 10, not 100, not 1000. In this video, I'll be teaching you few numericals from the exercise. Let's take the first one. It is exercise 15A and it is question number 3. Question says that change each of the following fractions to a decimal fraction. First example, 47 upon 10. In yesterday's video, I had taught you how to convert a given fraction when denominator is 10 into decimal fraction. I am teaching you again. What you need to do, you need to write the numerator as you have. Look at the denominator, you have 10, there is 1 0. So from right hand side you can't count one place and put decimal. So decimal fraction of 47 upon 10 is equal to 4.7. It's very simple. You just need to look at the denominator, count number of zeros. From right hand side you move on the left hand side as many zeros you have at denominator. Let's take second example. 495 divides by 100. Method is similar to the previous one. You copy numerator, count number of zeros at denominator. There are 2 zeros, so from right hand side you need to move it on the left side, 1 place, 2 place, and then put decimal. It becomes 4.95. The given fraction has converted to decimal fraction. Third example, 3 divides by 10 to the power of 3. This is called exponent, 10 to the power of 3. You need to simplify this first. 3 divides by 10 to the power of 3 means 10 is multiplied 3 times. 10 to the power of 3 means that. So 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10. You can write 10 into 10 into 10. Then put equal to sign. Copy numerator. Count number of zeros at denominator 1, 2, 3. So one place you don't have any numbers, so you put 0, 2, 3, decimal. Then again you have to put 0. 3 upon 10 to the power of 3 gets converted to decimal fraction 0.003. Let's consider the fourth example. Fourth example, 4, 8, 3, 10 to the power of 5. Similar steps you need to follow. 4, 8, 3. 10 to the power of 5 means 10 multiplies 5 times. 10 into 10 into 10. Again 10, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Now we write the numerator 483. 1 place numerator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal 0. The given fraction gets converted to decimal fractions. Let's take the fifth example. Fifth example, that is 95 hundredth. 95 hundredth. It means that given 95 is divided by 100. This is what it means, 100th. 95 is 100. So what do? We copy 95. Count number of zeros, 1, 2, decimal 0. The given fraction gets converted to decimal fraction. These are examples of conversion of given fraction into decimal fractions when you have denominator 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, etc. This is the first time. I had asked you to do few sums from exercise, that is question number 3, exercise 15A, question number 3, based on this property. Now let's take another example of question number 4. In this question number 4, you have to convert a given fraction into decimal fraction, but denominators are not 100, 10, 1000, etc. Suppose you have 2 upon 5, and I had taught you this. If you look at denominator, you don't have 100, 10, 1000, etc. So you copy this, put multiplication sign at both numerator and denominator. Look at this 5. With what number you multiply 5 to make it 10? So you write 2. Numerator multiplies, you get 4. 5 into 2 is 10. Now the denominator has changed to 10. Count 1, 0, 4, 1 place decimal 0. This is the conversion of a given fraction when we don't have denominator 10 and powers of 10. Second example, suppose you have 4 upon 50. Look at the denominator, you do not have 10, neither you have 100. So what you need to do, you write 4 upon 50. Multiply both numerator and denominator by a suitable number such that this denominator changes to 10 or 100 or 1000. So 50 when we multiply by 2, it gives us 100. So 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 50 into 2 is 100. Now denominator has changed to powers of 10, that is 100. You write 8, count number of zeros, 1 place, 2 place, decimal 0. Look at this part. Let's take third example. 7 divides by 125. With what number you multiply this 125 to make it either 100, 1000, etc. So 1, 2, 5. If you multiply by 2, it does not give you, it gives you 250. Multiply by 4. 5 into 4 is 22. 4 into 2, 8 and 10. 5 does not give you. So directly try 8 times. 8 into 5 is 44, 8 into 2 is 16, 16 plus 4 is 22, 8, 10. So with what number do we multiply 125 to make it powers of 10? That is 8. 7 into 8 is 56, divides by 125 into 8 is 1000. So we write 56, count number of zeros 1, 2, 3, 1 place, 2 place, 3 place, decimal. 1, 2, 3. If there is no digit, means you need to put 0 and then proceed with decimal. So you can try a few sums from same exercise, question number 4. There are around 4 or 5 sums. Now, question number 5. Change the given decimal fractions to a fraction in their lowest term. 0.02. Decimal fraction you have to convert into fraction and then reduce it to smallest value, lowest value. And I have taught you how to do this. I am doing it again. You write 2. Denominator. You have decimal. For decimal you write 1. How many digits you have after decimal? There are 2 digits. So you put 2 zeros. Divisible, 2 ones, 2 50. So you get 1/50. Lowest fraction. You should not leave it by 2/100. If it is divisible, you have to cancel it. Let's take another example. 4.95. Again, decimal fraction has to be changed into fraction first. So you copy the whole without decimal at numerator. All these digits you need to copy without decimal. Then you look at this, you have decimal here, so you write. For decimal you should always consider as 1. How many digits you have after decimal? There are 2 digits, 2 places of decimal. So you put 2 zeros. Now if it is divisible, you cancel it. 5 9 times 45. 4 is left. 5 9 times 45. 5 20 times. It is 99 divides by 20. Lowest value of the fraction. Third example. 5.005. Copy the terms 5005. For decimal you write 1. How many digits after decimal? 1, 2, 3. So you put 3 zeros. Decimal has changed into fraction. If it is divisible, you have to reduce it to smallest fraction, lowest fraction. 51001. 5 2 times 10 0 0. So you get 1001 divides by 200, lowest value. Let's take one more example. Conversion of decimal fraction into fraction and bring it to the lowest form. 0.0082. Similar, these zeros, when we write at numerator, it doesn't have any significance. So we just write 82. 0082 means 82. These zeros does not have any significance. 1 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. You have to count. For decimal fraction, they are considered. For whole numbers, zeros are not considered if they are in beginning of the number, in front of the number. Divisible, 4, 1, 5. Both are divisible by 2, so you cancel it by 2. You get 41 divided by 5,000, reduced form. This is the simple way to convert a decimal fraction into fraction and change it to the lowest value. From the same exercise, you can try question number 5. There are 4 sums or 5 sums. Now we move on to very important part, that is called addition and subtraction of decimals. Addition and subtraction of decimals, that is exercise 15b. 15b. And see what it means. Add the following. .21, 5.325, 4.2. Look at these given decimal fractions. You need to add them up. And addition is similar to the addition of whole numbers, natural numbers. But one thing you must remember, you need to convert all these given decimal fractions into like fractions. They are unlike, because after decimal you have 2 place, after decimal you have 3 place, after decimal you have only 1 place. So look at the calculation part. 5.21, 5.325, 4.2. And in order to make it like decimal fractions, you see you have 3 places. You put zeros so that it becomes 3 places. You have 1 place, put zeros to become 3 places. Now add it up. Simple addition now. 5, 3, 5, 6, 7. Decimal you write. 5, 10, 14. It is 14.732 added value. And please do remember, you have to have decimal in the same line and the digits after decimal should be on the right hand side. I'll give you another example. 15.32, 19.383, 532.2. Look at this. You have 3 decimal fractions. They are unlike decimal fractions. So we copy 15.32. Then you have 19 points. So you write 19 point. Decimals should be in the same line. 83383. Then you write 153.2. You need to change it into like decimal fractions. You have 3 places, 2 places, put 0, 2 zeros. Then add it up. You have to convert it to like decimal fractions. 3, 8, 9, 10, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Decimal. 9 plus 5 is 14, 14, 15, 16, 17. 7, 1 goes here, carry over. 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. 1. Added value. Simple addition. Similarly, you can go for subtraction. Okay, subtraction we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you very much. Please do the sums which I asked you to do. Open the textbook, go to the exercise, see you have similar kinds of sums. Practice, use the time. Have a good day ahead. Stay home, stay safe. Bye.